Hey everyone, I'm Megan Lawson, the senior producer of the Home and Family Show, and as many of you know, I'm following Vonnie, the food babe, who's here with me, her plan, and so I have her back to ask her a few questions. Hey Vonnie, how are you?
Hey, Megan.
So I had a couple of questions. Since I'm following your plan, you know, things come up a lot. One of my things is with making green smoothies, do you have to make them fresh every morning, or can you make them and store them without losing any of their nutrients?
Well, with green smoothies, because you're retaining the fiber, it actually helps preserve it a lot longer than if you were to do a green juice. So for green smoothies, what I recommend is making them and consuming them within 48 hours of making them. So if that means that you need to make it the night before and store it overnight in the refrigerator, I would suggest doing it in an airtight container. You definitely want to fill it all the way to the rim so that there's no air leaking out, and so it stays as fresh as possible. And then you can drink that up to 48 hours. Now, longer than that, you do start to lose some nutrients, and then also you run the risk of bacteria growing and other things, because remember, this is a raw food and it hasn't been pasteurized. So you want to make sure that you consume it as fast as possible.
Oh, great. So is there a difference between making green smoothies and juicing, like benefits-wise? Is one better than the other?
Well, I actually love both. And, it just depends on the time that you have. I actually like to do both every single day. So I'll have a green smoothie, maybe sometimes in the morning if I don't have time to green juice, and then I'll green juice later on before dinner. But both have their benefits. So with a smoothie, again, you're retaining the fiber in the smoothie, but the amount of vegetables that you can put in the smoothie aren't as grand as you would be able to put in a juice. And that's why juicing is so powerful, because you can actually juice a ton more vegetables by green juicing them through a type of juicer versus a blender. And when you do that, you can get a boost of all of these nutrients very fast into your body, and you can quickly absorb those faster than you would through a green smoothie. So it just depends, I think, for a lot of people, what time they have, if they have the resources to green juice versus blending. I think both have their place. One of the things that I love about juicing is that it unlocks these key nutrients that you can't always get from smoothies or even from chewing vegetables. And there's been studies conducted, and there's a whole institute called the Gershon Institute that actually has shown that juicing vegetables in a high volume can cure types of cancer. So juicing is very powerful, and so that's why I like to do both.
Oh, great. Well, another thing I like to add to my smoothies is chia seeds. And I know that it's good to let them soak, either in your juice or whatever you have, but I've also heard it's good to let them soak in water and then add them to the smoothie. What's your take on that?
Well, the thing is you don't want to be making a smoothie and gulping the whole thing down immediately. You want to take your time consuming that smoothie. So if you're putting chia seeds directly in your blender, blending that, and then taking your time drinking that smoothie, those chia seeds are going to have time to kind of expand, and those fibers within the chia are going to expand in your smoothie. And you'll notice your smoothie actually gets a little bit gelatinous. It gets really kind of goopy when you put chia seeds in there and you let it sit over time. Now, if you are in a rush and you don't want to soak them ahead of time, you definitely can just put them in. But, if you're eating a chia seed pudding, for example, or if you're eating them not blended up, or you're trying to eat something more fast, I suggest soaking it for at least 10 minutes.
Okay, great. And then my last question is, a lot of people, when they ask me things that I'm eating and I say nuts and quinoa, and they're like, well, they have so many calories. And I tell them, calories are different. Do you believe that? Is that true, that calories are different?
Well, here's the deal, is low calorie doesn't necessarily mean healthy. And I think a lot of people have that misconception. A lot of people out there drinking Diet Coke thinking it's 0 calorie, but there's all of these chemicals within soda that are actually working against you to make you actually crave sweets later on, because your brain still thinks you're consuming something sweet when it drinks a cola, but it's getting no calories. So your brain is still looking and searching for gratification. And when you eat nutrient dense superfoods like quinoa that you mentioned that have all of the amino acids that your body needs and omega-3 fatty acids. That is an amazing type of grain that you could be eating, and you're going to be feeling so satisfied with just a half a cup of that versus eating something that's low calorie and lacking in nutrition. The same goes for nuts. You know, some of the beautiful things about nuts is that it has an amazing amount of fat in it, and fat is actually so important to keep you full and satisfied so that you don't crave other sweets and bad things throughout the day.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Bonnie. And you can see more on Bonnie at foodbabe.com, and be sure to keep tuning in to see my journey. And you can see my journey at Megan Process on Twitter and Instagram.
Thank you so much, Megan. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.